Hello, I'm Sarah. This is Hardcover Hearts, and I'm here with my pile of possibilities for November. As you probably know, November is an incredible reading month with all sorts of bookish events that take place. We've got NonFiction November, hosted by Olive at A Book Olive. We've got Novellas in November, which was started by Laura Frey, who is on Instagram and Twitter and does some booktube every once in a while. I'll put links to all of those channels below. And then also Indigathon, which is hosted by Brody as well as Michelle. Brody at A2 Brody and Michelle at Thor Needs Another Letter. Again, links to all of their channels will be below. I have been holding books for this event, and so really excited to finally not just show them, but start to crack them open. Because as much as I love having surrounded by untapped books that I haven't yet read, I also love reading them. So let's do this, right? Okay, so let's start. When you think about NonFiction November, Olive always puts a couple prompts up. She's really smart about identifying just words and then allowing you to form your own connections to those words. I'm really focused on one of those words, and then I might find a way to work the other ones in, to be perfectly frank. But those four words are collection, industry, style, and treatment. I think I've got collection nailed, maybe style, industry. I think I also have industry. Treatment, we'll see. We'll see if I can find a way to shoehorn these books into that prompt. But regardless, I'm going to be reading a ton of nonfiction. So let me start there with the nonfiction. Then we'll move to Indigathon, and then we'll move to Novellas in November, in case you want to kind of go ahead. Okay, so let's start with nonfiction. So when I think about collection, I'm really desperately missing travel, desperately missing the experience of being in a place that I've read and that I've already studied and that I am dreaming about and daydreaming about. And so I'm focusing in on two places specifically, and that is Paris and then Italy in general. So let's start with Paris. The first book that I want to read is, if you follow my channel, you know I've been reading In Search of Lost Time very slowly, and I'm on volume 4 now. So it seems like, because I've crossed the halfway mark with In Search of Lost Time by Marcel Proust, maybe I should read this. This was given to me by my very dear friend Leo of A Little Book Life, and this was for Christmas of last year. Marcel Proust, A Life by Edmund White. So this is a biography, and it's nice and slim. So it's almost like a novella biography, which, love that. So we'll see if we can kick it off with this and read this. Then we have this. I have a collection of books that I bought most recently from Shakespeare & Company as I renewed and re-upped my year of reading bundle that they do. And while I was there, I saw these and I thought, okay, it's time to get them. So first up is this book. This is Paris by Julian Green. I just love black and white photo and the kind of green that they use here, kind of tealy green, light tealy green. This is Penguin Travel, is the publisher here. And this is, so my understanding is that Julian Green was an American born in Paris in 1900. And this is a collection of some of his memories and explorations in Paris, as a city that he grew up in and loves very much. So how can you beat that? Then we have this, so maybe this fits in industry. This is Agnès Poirier, Left Bank, Art, Passion, and the Rebirth of Paris, 1940 to 1950. So this is all about the people who flocked to Paris post-liberation and how they both took from and helped to mold Parisian culture. So this is great, and it has some of the people and personalities that will appear in some of the later books that I show you. So excited about this. Then I'm feeling very smart. I bought this and it just won the Poirier Prize. I think I saw it last night that it won. This is No Modernism Without Lesbians by Diana Souhami. And this was a Sunday Times book of the year, but also, as I said, just won the Poirier Prize. And this really takes 4 women who broke the rules, Sylvia Beach, Natalie Barney, Breyer, and Gertrude Stein. Really excited to read this, especially as Sylvia Beach, who started Shakespeare and Company and helped publish James Joyce. I'm just really excited to read all this. So this might also fit into industry a little bit. This one should be style for sure. This is Literary Paris, a Guide by Jessica Powell. And this is just filled with maps and sites and where to find certain authors. Like here's Simenon, George Simenon. Kind of some place to, as you're kind of exploring Paris, where to go and what has specific literary merit. Here's Collette. So just a really great little book that kind of has everything that you might want as a literary reader, and even some authors I've never heard of, which, I really love that. Help me learn a little something. Okay, so that's kind of Paris and time in a certain time frame where Paris is kind of the center that pulls everything together. Then if I think about like true collection, I have this collection of a French feminist author that I just adore. I read Annie Ernaux's The Years with a Bookish Islander, and we actually did a series talking about this in Deep Conversation series. I'll put a link to that below as well, and it's in one of my playlists. But Annie Ernaux is somebody that I've been meaning to read more of, so I have a collection here from Fitzcarraldo Editions. I have, and I don't think these are in order, A Girl's Story, A Man's Place, I Remain in Darkness, Happening, and Simple Passion. I will be prioritizing these and reading these this November because I miss her point of view, and I think that reading all of her work kind of straight through alongside some of these other Parisian discussions will be very interesting. If you have not read The Years, it is magnificent. It was literally one of the best books I read a couple of years ago. I still think about it. She really charts changes in French culture, and through the backdrop of these photos and taking this time elapse approach, and then slipstreaming her own story and her own life in interweaving with it. And it was magnificent, just magnificent. So let's talk about other French writers that are magnificent and their personal stories. I do love a memoir. I absolutely love people talking about their own lives and contextualizing it. And there is no better than Simone de Beauvoir. I read her Memoirs of a Dutiful Daughter maybe last year. Absolutely adored it. So it's time to pick up the next volume. This is The Prime of Life. And I adored it. I want to read more from her, and how she appears in some of the other books that I'll be reading. I think it's just a wonderful opportunity to kind of draw some connecting threads. Then we have a writer, Collette. This is My Mother's House and Sido. These are 2 different memoirs that are appearing in this one volume. This is Penguin 20th Century Classics Edition. In the autobiography, so I'll be trying these. This is about her childhood. And then when we think about reflecting on your past, a lot of times you do that as you're nearing, you've reached a plateau, and I also want to start thinking about the future. What does the future look like? This is something I also bought from Shakespeare and Company, Out of Time, The Pleasures and Perils of Aging by Lynn Seagal. And in this, she not only examines her life, but she also surveys the working experience of other writers and artists. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. Now, I don't know if this falls into, if she has stuff about like Simone de Beauvoir and some of these other French women, but I bought it from Shakespeare and Company, so I'm counting it. See how I'm playing with the rules? Then if we think about now, like something that's also forward-looking, I would be remiss to not bring in a new, fresh voice coming out of France and Paris. And this is King Kong Theory by Virginie Despentes, also by Fitzcarraldo. And this is a really powerful, provocative, personal look at her life, specifically when she was raped, and how she thinks about that experience, as well as prostitution that she engaged in, and just her life as an independent woman in modern day. It's supposed to be very confronting, very raw. She's known as a punk rock writer, so we'll see about all that. But it would be interesting to get a newer voice in the mix. And then this one feels a little adjacent, but I want to do it anyway, so I'm going to do it. These are two books that I've been dying to read. These are Deborah Levy. This is The Cost of Living, and this is Real Estate. Both of these are nonfiction. I read her Things I Don't Want to Know About, and it blew my mind. And I've liked Hot Milk was also something incredibly exciting. That I read in Paris, by the way. I actually bought it at Shakespeare and Company and read it on a trip in Paris. So there's that connection. Deborah Levy is writing about life and essays in a way that I find is fascinating and interesting, and she's thoughtful and intellectually stimulating. I feel like just like with Annie Ernaux, my synapses all start firing when I read her work. So I've been waiting to read these, so I'm going to try to put it in here. I'm not even done yet. You wait till you see. So then I have two others that kind of fall in this nonfiction category that I want to read. Both of these are travel books, travel writing that verge on the kind of experience and are known to be from writers that are really well versed in writing great works. This is Jan Morris, Trieste and the Meaning of Nowhere. This one came out on Jan Morris's 70th birthday, and I think is her last publication. Jan Morris is a really fantastic figure, and I have her memoir here. If I have a chance, I'll sneak it in. But Jan Morris is one of the early transgender pioneers who came out as transgender and wrote all sorts of books about travel, which I think is just fantastic and fascinating. Cannot wait to read this. It's slim, and this is about Italy. And then we have Mary McCarthy wrote this book called Venice Observed. I just think, Mary McCarthy writing a travel book? So obviously she has a passionate feeling about Venice. So really excited to also read this little slim book. Okay, so that's the nonfiction in November. Now let's get to Indigathon, because this actually pulls in with Nonfiction November. This is a book that I've wanted to read for a very long time, but I've been holding. Well, it's time to read it. This is Braiding Sweetgrass, which I've heard nothing but amazing things about. Indigenous Wisdom, Scientific Knowledge, and the Teachings of Plants by Robin Wall Kimmerer. Look at that. It's just such a beautiful book. It's so textural. And this is something I said I've heard nothing but amazing things. I keep saying I'm going to read. I think this is the type of book, though, that takes me a while. We'll see. I heard the writing is transcendent, so maybe it won't take me as long as I think. But I think I should probably start this at the beginning and weave some other things in so that I'm definitely sure to finish this. Now let's talk about novellas. So yes, I read the nonfiction more slowly. But when I can add a novella in, it makes me feel like I'm making more progress than if I try to read something big. It's like I don't know, it's like little propulsive thrusts in my reading that I really need. I don't know why, it's just how I am. But these are some books that I've wanted to read. I read an Amelie Nothomb books before and I did not get on with it, but this is Fear and Trembling, and I'm going to give it a try. This one won the Grand Prix of the Académie Française and the Prix Internet de Livre. So we'll see how I get on with this one. I didn't like the last one because of the tense, and it had a child, and I didn't like the way the child was created. But I don't think there's any children in here, and I think the tense is different. So we'll see. Maybe this is something that will work for me. So excited by that. I always need a mystery in. And I've heard mixed things about this, to be honest, so we'll see. This is The Godmother by Hannelore Kerr, and this won Crime Fiction Prize and the Grand Prix de Littérature Policière. It's a noir written in France but set in Italy about a old woman who is a drug lord. So kind of tongue-in-cheek type of noir. So we'll see how this one works for me. Then I think this is one of my books that Bert from Pastori Time told me about as part of my reading list that he gave me. I'll put a link to that video below because that was phenomenal and just the gift that keeps on giving. This is Conversations in Sicily by Elio Vittorini. Yeah, just look at that. Look at that cover. It just looks gorgeous. Then also, this is something that Daunt Books have republished. And these are these two gorgeous, gorgeous Natalie Ginsburg covers. Look how stunning they are. This is The Dry Heart. And then this one is The Road to the City. I did read one of her books from this series recently, and it was so good. I read Voices in the Evening, and it was wonderful. So looking forward to reading these. And I just noticed that Perils Segal, who I fangirl over, she was the critic from the New York Times, as well as Deborah Levy, both blurbed the back of this one. Maggie Nelson blurbed the back of this one, as well as Rachel Cusk. So yeah, that's a good list of women on the back of that. And then lastly, the very last book. Again, I'm not getting to all of these. These are my piles of possibilities. You'll have to check in every week to see which ones I picked. But the last is a Shirley Hazard book. Shirley Hazard is a completely different writer. She writes very lyrically beautiful, almost old-fashioned vibe in her books. I read The Bay of Noon before going to Italy the last time, and it blew my mind. I just loved it so much. And so this is The Evening of the Holiday, and this is set in Italy. And look at that cover. So nice thin novella, so I'd like to try to get to this as well. So as you can see, thank goodness Thanksgiving and a 5-day weekend appears later on this month, because I think I'm going to need all of that time, if not more, to get through a significant amount of these. But y'all know how fast I read. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm kind of up for the challenge. And I feel so invigorated by all of these books and just want to jump into them even starting now. But I need to kind of clear the decks a little bit more today and get ready and start with a bang tomorrow. So I would love to know, have you read any of these books? Are any of these books that you think I will hate? So in other words, can you save me a little time by teeing up which ones you think I'm not going to enjoy? But most of all, are there any ones in here that you think that I should prioritize more highly? And that's it for me for now. I thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope you have a fantastic reading month ahead. And yeah. As always, we're still in a global pandemic. I can't wait until I don't have to say this anymore. But I feel like it would be just giving up to stop. So, as a reminder, still maintain safe social distance, wear a mask, wash your hands, don't touch your face. And if you can get vaccinated, please do. I received my booster yesterday. I just lounged around and read a ton and kind of got the booster immediate effects out of my system, and I'm feeling great today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.